Well, welcome to today's episode. Today we're joined by Alan Lazaros. At just 2 years old, Alan lost his father in a car accident. And then at 26, he survived a nearly fatal crash that completely changed his life's direction. Though successful on the outside, he realized something was missing and discovered the power of personal development. Today, Alan is the founder and CEO of Next Level University, a global top 100 podcast with over 2,100 episodes and more than 1 million listens in 180 plus countries. He leads a global team of 18 and is known for his heart-driven but no BS approach to helping people reach their next level in health, wealth, and love. So Alan, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for that awesome intro. I won't waste a second of anyone's time. I find it to be an honor and a privilege to be on a microphone and to speak into people's lives. I think that what you pay attention to dictates everything. So if you're paying attention to me and Mark right now, we will make sure to guide you the very best we can, and we will make sure we don't waste any of your precious time.
Yeah. Thank you all for being here. For those of you that might be joining for the first time, we at Strativa AI help businesses scale their revenue over 12 months using AI. So if you want to learn how to take your business to the next level, make sure to stick around for future episodes. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop the word growth in the DMs below. So Alan, can you please share more about Next Level University and some of the latest on what you're working on these days?
I love what you just said there already. You said if you want to reach your next level of success in business, reach out. That's exactly what I'm about to. We are nowhere near the upper limit of what we are capable of. I don't know anyone who's maxed out, including myself. And at 26, you mentioned this in my bio, which is at 26, I got in a car accident. My birth father died in a car. So this is sort of the second chance my dad never got. And I realized I wasn't even scratching the surface of my potential. But here's the thing. On the outside, I was very successful. I was traditional path, preschool, kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, corporate. That was the traditional American dream, born and raised in Massachusetts type of thing. And compared to a lot of my peers and just society in general, I was very successful. And I take nothing from that. I was actually very successful. However, I was nowhere close to my true potential. I rested on talent, and some of us feel very gifted and we don't use our gifts. And I was one of those. So while I did very well, I faced mortality and said, I'm not even close to maxed out. And so about my business, it's the same as yours. The difference is we don't focus entirely on AI. So you're more of a specialty with AI, but we have Level Up Yourself, Level Up Your Podcast, Level Up Your Business, Next Level University, Podcast Growth University, and I just started Business Growth University. So it's an online university, quote unquote. It's not technically a university in the traditional sense, but it's a place where you learn about yourself, others, and the world. And we have a book club. We've got a group coaching program. We have one-on-one clients, business coaching, success coaching. Kevin does podcast coaching. And we now work with 117 podcasters and business owners paying clients, but we also serve, to what you mentioned, people all over the world with our free services too. And so the majority of what we do is free, and anyone who has high work ethic and high coachability, you're going to benefit tremendously from what we do. nextleveluniverse.com. You can go and see all the stuff we do. Most of it's free, to our own detriment. I'm kidding. But let's just say if you have a sincere interest to reach your full potential, there is no better place.
Sounds it. And so you said that you've got a team of 18 and it sounds worldwide. And then what did you say about like the number of people that you're currently reaching, say?
Yeah, so I track metrics every day. We're about to cross 1.3 million people that we've reached in 180 countries. So there's only 195 countries on planet Earth.
Right.
There's 8 billion people on planet Earth as of 2024, and 5.65 billion online last I checked 3 weeks ago. It's probably 6 billion now. I don't know. It's going up quickly, though, with Starlink.
Yeah, I was thinking that same exact thing.
Exactly, because the Wi-Fi is accessible globally now from satellites. It's unbelievable. Right. So, but it's actually a 19-person team now. We just brought it on someone else.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, we help people get to their own unique next level. What was the original question again? Sorry.
No, it was just about that reach, and you mentioned that, over 1 million people that you've reached. And so just trying to get an idea of like scope and size And you were going on also mentioning about like some sort of different avenues that you guys are in. So for like the podcasting and having different communities there, like if you could go maybe a little bit deeper on how people can connect in your different communities.
Yep. So we actually, and I think that this is sort of the competitive advantage of companies going forward. I think in the world of AI, there's unbelievable things you can do. You obviously know that. I think human connection, community, and belonging is going to exponentially be more difficult to create.
Couldn't agree more.
Right. And so we've talked about that off air, you and I. Amy, Kevin, and I are sort of the front-facing team members. Level Up Yourself, Level Up Your Podcast, Level Up Your Business. So Level Up Yourself is Amy, Level Up Your Podcast is Kevin, and Level Up Your Business is me. But we have sub-communities. So we have a place called Next Level Nation. It's a private Facebook group. We have a place called Podcast Growth Nation for podcasters. It's a private Facebook group. I'm creating Business Growth Nation for business owners. But ultimately, we use WhatsApp and we have private little sub-communities. So my book club, for example, just a great example. We're reading Rationality by Steven Pinker in book club right now. We've read 23 books together. I've done it for the last 5 years, every single Saturday. I haven't missed a Saturday in 5 years. So although when we have live events on Saturdays, I'll move it to Sunday or Friday, but I've never missed a week in 5 years. And I don't say that to brag. What I say is people can rely on that community. And I have people that have been in book club for years. I know these people deeply. And I think that that's something that we've found to be very beneficial. And what I realized this one day, I said, all my clients are coming to book club. And then I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, maybe book clubbers end up being clients. And so it really can be this thing. So for anyone who wants to tap into any of this, if you love, now we're not reading Harry Potter, and I like Harry Potter. That's not my point. We're reading personal development, self-improvement, and personal growth books. I mean, I'm talking Rationality, The Compound Effect, Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Quite frankly, and I'll just share this right out of the gate, if you don't have work ethic and you don't want to reach your potential, you're going to freaking hate me. Because I'm always trying to help people pretty tenaciously reach their full potential. And I'm definitely going to repel anyone who doesn't want to do that. But if you do, I have a masterclass I do every month for free. I have a book club that I do every week for free. And there's a lot of things you can do. It's all at the website.
Can you share a story, either a recent one or one that really resonates with you for something in the past, about how you actually helped a client and maybe some sort of transition that they went through or aha moment that they had or success
I think
they reached?
One specific client, her name is Bianca. She gave me permission to share this. She is a licensed therapist, and she has 22 clients on her roster right now, plus the 40 that she works for at another company. So she's just crushing it. But when I first met her, and she would say this, not me, she was just completely lost. And when I say lost, what I really mean is she didn't have clear, specific goals. She didn't track any metrics. And I always joke, I say, what if Michael Phelps's coach was like, yeah, man, just swim around.
Yeah, right.
And so that really, I think a lot of people, there's that quote, not all those who wander are lost. I understand the artsiness of that. I do. The truth is, as an engineer, you're going to hate me for this, not you, but the metaphorical you. Most people who wander actually are lost. They don't have any goals. They don't have any clear direction. They don't have any metrics, and they're romanticizing being lost because they're insecure about the fact that they're not on point. The future only gets better by design, not by default, except for the lucky people who stumble upon success and don't know how they actually created it. So that's the engineer. I'll get off the pedestal in a second. But ultimately, this client, Bianca, would admit today she was completely lost. The reason why is she didn't have goals and systems. So now she has every single one of my clients and every team member, they track metrics and habits.
Nice.
So we do dreams, goals, priorities, metrics, habits, skills, and identity work, and it all lines up. And that changes. It evolves, right? So we have seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, quarters, years, decade. I reverse engineer the decades with my clients and my team. And then we get to work. And then you realize, I don't actually want this. My life sucks. This is not what I want. So then you lower the target or change the target. Because one of the things you find, and to Bianca's point, she had all these goals, right? They were all vanity goals. Everybody starts out with vanity goals. You're young. I met her when she was, 20? She's 30 now. So I've been coaching her for 6 years. So I think she was 24. Most of her goals were just, I want to be a power lifter and I want to be a great body and all that stuff. They're vanity metrics and vanity goals. But the pursuit of those vanity goals actually makes you find yourself. So it's almost a good thing later on because it gets you to realize, oh, okay, I got that. That didn't do it. So then you kind of learn yourself and realize, I still have the skills and tools that got me the vanity goals, but now I'm going to use those skills and tools for maybe a greater purpose that's more meaningful rather than, being able to bench press. I think one time she squatted 315 pounds and she's really small. She's like 5'2". Yeah, I know. And we used to work out together. And I remember thinking, like, 1-rep maxes are dangerous. You shouldn't be trying to do 315 pounds. And she hurt her back. She wouldn't even mind me sharing this. She hurt her back. And she said it was ego. I wish I could go back and talk to my younger self and say,
there.
Right. And it's like, listen, she introduced me to my beautiful girlfriend and future wife, Emilia. I'll be brief about this, but I actually they used to work out together. And I pulled my girlfriend, Emilia, aside and I said, watch out for what she's doing. Like, don't let her teach you fitness because she's thinking short term. She wants to lift 315 pounds. Like, don't do that. You're going to hurt your back. And now 6 years later, Bianca has totally given me permission to share all this. And she says, yeah, I was just lost trying to get significance, and she admits that on her YouTube channel too. And a lot of us start there. So to answer your question, it really comes down to systems and goals and metrics and habits. And yeah, when you're young, typically you realize those goals were vanity goals, but it at least gets you on a journey to discovering yourself.
Indeed. So how does AI enter the realm of systems and discovery, especially in regards to assisting people on their business? And how do you help suggest or help companies implement AI into their businesses?
Well, you and I talked off air about this. I use AI as my best teacher. And what I mean by that is the power of AI leverages combing the internet and curating statistics and understanding. And so the deep research function of ChatGPT, you can pick whatever AI you want to use. I use and my team uses ChatGPT. Now, you and I had the conversation off air about using it as a tool and not a crutch. Because you actually said something really profound that I'm going to use, which is cognitive load. If you're using it to take off cognitive load, the neuroscience, functional, chemical, and structural changes in your brain, like if you don't use it, you lose it. That is absolutely true. Stop working out for a year. You're going to absolutely just be mush.
Right.
And so with the brain, it's the same thing. So I don't use AI to automate things that I think I shouldn't, especially the connection, belonging, and stuff like that. If you DM me on Instagram, anyone out there, it's going to be me.
It's going to be you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I use AI every day to learn. I'll give you an example. I have a client who's doing a certification in Canada for finance, and it's called IFC, finance.
For finance, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's called IFC, IFC. I don't know, International Federation of International Finance Canada. I don't know the acronym. I really don't. Sure. IFC is what it's called.
Yeah.
And we literally have ChatGPT creating quizzes, custom quizzes that we do together and we compete. I'm in the US, I'm in Massachusetts. I'm trying to get his competitive drive going where we're competing. I got a 60 on the last quiz. He got an 80. That's the first time he beat me on a quiz because his test is in 52 days and I don't want him to fail. So I'm trying to, but we use AI as the tool to get us to learn in order to get the license. And so that's what my whole team uses AI for. And before a big event or a training or a masterclass, I'll do research, but quite frankly, I looked up earlier how to spell obedience. I used to use Google. Now I use AI. Right. I didn't know how to spell obedience. I did a social media post earlier. I wrote it down, OBEDIENC. And then I was like, I wonder if that's right. And then I checked it. So for me, AI is just the best teacher. I don't really use it for much else, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's interesting because part of the reason why I do this podcast is to find out how people are using AI in relation to their businesses. And there's kind of three categories that people will fall into, and sometimes they overlap, of course. And so one is like the people that I speak with have an actual AI product, right, that they're selling. And another is that there's something in their service that uses AI and is forward-facing and relational with their clients. And then the third is internal for their own internal processes. And it sounds like you fall a bit in the latter there,
definitely,
right? In the last
definitely.
one.
Yep.
And Yeah, like, no judgment on any of them, but that's just where people have, come and been able to share about their experiences. Again, because my whole goal of the podcast is to help people learn and have those light bulb moments go off, those ahas, and have that transfer of learning where it's like, oh gosh, yeah, I could do that too, right? Or Alan and his team are doing it in this way. And so that's something that I didn't even think about. And I could implement that by doing X, Y, Z as well. And so as you've been in contact with so many people in all your groups and things like that, what sort of misconceptions have you seen come about because of AI when people are talking about how to integrate things into their own businesses?
I think I was a computer engineer, and to give you context, we were mining for Bitcoin in my dormitory in 2007. Yeah, right. So it's kind of hard to answer that question because I don't really know what other people don't know. And it's actually been a little bit alarming for me to realize how few people know tech. But I also am like the super nerd who built his first computer at 12.
Yeah.
Right. And I actually just got another desktop, 32 gigs of RAM. It's unbelievable. When I was a kid, that was unheard of, right? So for anyone who's a computer engineer or someone who's a techie, all of that makes sense, and that's really cool. And, the Mac versus Windows and Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and all that stuff makes sense. I was in that era. I was arguing who was smarter, Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, when I was 11, right? So I'm the super weirdo in this. And as I've coached more people, and heart-driven but no BS, I'm an engineer who did very well in corporate and industrial automation at big companies and robotics. I worked at iRobot, the company iRobot that does the Roomba. I realize that I'm a weirdo, and I'm kind of I'm 36 years old, and I'm realizing how weird, actually. But what I'm doing is I'm taking the engineering mindset of systems and metrics and analytical thinking to a very fluffy industry. So the podcasting space, maybe you've noticed this, it's unbelievably squishy. It's like crazy. Most people don't have any metrics. They don't have any org structure. There's no business model. Like, I've noticed the personal development industry has like very little professional development, and the professional corporate world has very little personal development. It's been weird for me. And so I have people from all over the world, Italy, Australia, clients. I have 11,543 coaching sessions, trainings, and podcasts. That's my magic number because those are the things that I am honing on. And hours and thousands of hours with all these people from all over the world. What I've actually found is how alarming it is how little they actually track anything, and they don't actually leverage tech very well. And as someone who has 2 computers right now, 2 keyboards, 2 mice going right in front of me, like, I've got my calendar up here on the left. I was a sort of a semi-pro gamer back in the day, PC Gamer magazine, all this stuff. I didn't realize how nerdy I was until I started coaching non-nerds of the world.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you one quick example. Whoa. Yeah, it's been well. Now, okay, to give you context, my roommate who I lived with in college is at Apple, and my other roommate went to Microsoft, right? So my world was hyper tech. And I have a business partner named Kevin, and he's like, Alan, I've never even met an engineer. And I remember thinking, like, what do you even mean? I've known engineers my whole adult life. Like, I can't even imagine that. He's like, you're the only engineer I know. What? So again, this is my ignorance. To answer your question, I'll share this story and we'll move forward. I have an awesome guy. His name's Derek. He's in our community. He listens to our podcast. He was on my girlfriend's team. Great guy. And Derek, if you were listening, I don't want to offend you, but I'm going to share this story. First names only. He posted 2, maybe 3 years ago. He said, I don't even own a laptop, and he was bragging about it. See? Okay, As a techie, my brain goes, you're screwed.
Sure.
The reason why you're screwed is because the entire globe is oriented around tech. Everyone who's good at tech and engineering, like all my college friends, not all of them, but pretty much all of them, and I don't want this to come off pretentious, I'm sharing this because it's important, are all multimillionaires. They're all computer engineers. They're all engineers. Like 21st century computer engineers. I got a job offer last week, right? Like, there's not enough engineers, and there's all the tech companies, they all need engineers, and there's not enough people that know tech. So if you're really good at tech and really good at AI, you're going to be incredibly wealthy.
You'll be very
If you're
valuable.
not, I came from industrial automation. Cognex is the most successful machine vision company on the planet. They do the eyes of robotics. I went into GE. I went into all these facilities. I saw all the automation that was happening from 2010 on. If you are not good with technology, you are in so much trouble. And I'll get off the soapbox here, but basically, to answer your question, I've been just alarmed in general at how few people actually study technology. Like, they don't even know how AI works. There's a bunch of books on it. You can learn superintelligence. You can learn about these things. Alan Turing, this stuff is not new. AI was thought of in the 60s.
Yeah, 50s.
I just guess I'm learning that I'm a super nerd. And I certainly don't look like one, which is, that whole thing. But I guess what I would say to answer your question is I don't really know what other people don't know yet, but I do know, and I'm learning how alarming it is. Like, nobody even know, and again, not nobody, but I've realized a lot of my clients had no idea how many countries there are. As a matter of fact, I'll give you one more example. We crossed 8 billion people on planet Earth last year. How many people do you know that are still saying 7?
Right. Yeah.
Isn't that wild? I was saying 8 for the last 5 years because I was rounding up.
Yeah, yeah.
And everyone was like, what do you mean? It's 7. No. It's crossed 7.5 a decade ago. But nobody's 195 countries, 8 billion people on planet Earth. That's actually new information for a lot of people. One more example. I was with some close people of mine, and I said the U.S. economy is the largest economy on planet Earth. And they're like, what do you mean? No, it's not. And I was like, yeah, it is. And they're like, no, it's not. What about China? And I was like, oh my goodness. Nobody knows the global economy. The U.S. has 25 trillion in 2024 GDP. 25 trillion. The next closest is 19 trillion with China. So to make this clear to everyone out there watching or listening, I feel an obligation, a responsibility to help people with statistics. If you use AI for nothing else, just look up stuff.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, it can curate data you need to learn with AI. Like, ask ChatGPT. I have a client of mine who's from Lebanon, and she's like, well, they have a lot of money over there. And I was like, what does that even mean? That's a very squishy thing to say. And now she knows there are 8 in the world of the 195 countries, and per capita it's actually very low. And I was like, how is it that you're from this country and I know more about the country than you do?
Right.
And it's just because she had never researched it. Her parents said XYZ and she just took it as gospel. And so at the end of the day, don't take a word I say or anyone else says as gospel. Research. And AI is the best research tool on planet Earth, hands down. We used to have encyclopedias and libraries and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah. And even with that and those, right? Whether it's today with AI or back then with encyclopedias, like the importance of having that kind of idea of like questioning it, right? And it's like, okay, you've been taught this or read it, learned it somehow, right? And then it's like, what do you do with that information? How do you take it so that you're actually doing some sort of intake and then processing it and then using it into XYZ of your life, right? Could be your business, could be your personal life, could be health, could be finances, what have you. It's kind of like, how are you using that information? And it's such an opportunity with AI to learn. And I get really excited when I hear about people that are up there in their 60s, 70s, 80s that are using it, and these light bulb moments are going off for them and they're learning, and it's creating such an opportunity there too, where, my mom passed of Alzheimer's, and I come to find out that like with Alzheimer's and different, things under the dementia umbrella, it can be staved off and even compartmentalized.
Great sleep.
Just by learning.
Yep.
And so with AI...
My grandmother, same thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you. My grandmother lost her memory, Alzheimer's, 94 years old.
I'm sorry.
Great. Thank you. We've been through it. Like, she thought before she passed away, she thought I was my mom's husband.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know the deal, right? This is painful stuff.
Yeah.
The truth is she didn't learn. She didn't have goals that required her to learn, and she didn't get good sleep. Wonderful person, but didn't have the goals that required the necessity that got her to keep her brain going. So I've studied all the neuroscience around sleep and around if you don't use it, you lose it and all this stuff. And so you obviously have too, because Alzheimer's has caused us so much pain. There's preventative things you can do, especially when you're young, to increase the probability that you do not get Alzheimer's.
Right.
You can
Right.
reverse engineer a lot of that. It's unbelievable. So I digress,
Yeah.
but I'm super passionate as well about that.
Yeah, no, thanks for adding those stories. And I just, kind of drilling down further, it gives us the ability to learn so much more about subjects that we're already curious about. And so we're firing those neural pathways that much more. And then we're able to either like go deep on them, right? Or because we've learned something, now we can kind of go, take a segue and take that learning and apply it into something else. And so there's just so much opportunity with it. I think that's part of the overwhelm that people experience as well, because there is so much that we can do with it, that it's very easy to go into the whole shiny object syndrome, or to think that like, the next better tool is going to come around, so I'm just going to wait. But it's
Yeah.
like, with people saying like AI is the future, I'm always like, AI is here. Like,
Yeah.
it's a matter
It's
of,
not the future. It's here.
yeah, it's here. It's like,
You got to jump in the pool,
literally,
though.
okay, open whatever type of computer you have, go to the library and like just ask it something, and you'll be just amazed, and you could, whatever, you could take your phone these days and look in the fridge and be like, what can I make for dinner
I know.
tonight based on all of that? Like, there's so many different applications,
Mark, can I
right?
share this with you real quick? Have you ever been to a place called the Biltmore in North Carolina?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's an estate. It's beautiful. It's the largest privately owned estate in the United States, apparently. And again,
Oh,
I would have to
wow.
research that more.
Yeah,
But
it
it's a
sounds
gorgeous
familiar.
one of my so my girlfriend and future wife. It was on her bucket list to see these gardens. One of her heroes did these civil engineering, these gardens, botany, all this stuff, and we went there. We've been there twice. And why was I talking about the Biltmore? AI. I'm not kidding. We're walking through the Biltmore Gardens
Yeah,
and getting a guided tour by ChatGPT.
there you go.
And literally ChatGPT is like, okay, right now you're probably walking down the cobblestones and seeing the giant birch trees. And it was like, this is so
Now, Alan, was
cool.
that an on-the-spot thing?
Yeah.
Okay. You just out of the blue, you let it know that that's where you were, and it was
Yep.
helping you. Like,
100%.
it was as if because I know about like those museums that you can go into, put on the earphones, and you've got like kind of the guided
They
tour.
actually have that.
I didn't know if it
The
was like
Biltmore
a
has that.
thing that they have.
It is, but we're like, nope, we want a custom one for us based on
See.
our inputs of what we value. So the guided tour, we actually did that the first time we went to the Biltmore. This time we don't even need it. We can just listen to our
Right.
phone. And she's brilliant. Like, she's been studying this stuff. When I first met her, she was writing about AI. It was her idea. She's like, let's get a guided tour.
Yeah.
And so she just started talking to ChatGPT, and she's like, hey, we're at the Biltmore. We really like this, this, and this. Tell me about there's a tree there that has roots coming up that are like, they look like stumps. And it's like, tell us about the stumps that are coming up from the roots of the tree. And it just started going off. And it was just like, how interesting that we get our own personal customized tour in real time.
Amazing.
It
Right.
was super cool. It was Jarvis and Iron Man. I mean, straight up, that's really what it was. And as a nerd of nerds, I want a smart like, I can ask my Alexa to change the temperature in my house right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and people get scared by this, and I understand why. Terminator and all, I get it. Okay, Ex Machina, all sci-fi becomes science fact, and a lot of people are scared, and a lot of people are optimistic. I think it's obviously a duality of both, but ultimately, the tool. I want a fully smart home, and I want everything automated. I mean, she has automated lights. I want Iron Man's house, straight up. I do. And see, you obviously do too. And other people, I'm getting a Cybertruck as well, and a lot of people don't like that. It's not the Elon stuff. Please don't associate me. My point is, that thing, it drives itself completely. Have you ever had a full self-driving car?
No, not yet.
Okay. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they're so cool.
It's so cool, and it's coming whether people like it or not. And at the end of the day, you can either use the tools to have a higher quality of life and achieve your goals or not. And again, use them as tools, not crutches. But I love technology. I always have. Like, some of the poorest amongst us have a higher quality of life than someone who was a king or a pharaoh 300 years ago. And I'm not I'm not saying that there aren't people in abject poverty suffering. That is not my point. What I am saying is that the quality of your specific life and how well you can design it. Like, I'm talking to you from across the globe. I don't know where you're from necessarily.
I'm in San Diego. You're in Massachusetts, so
Beautiful.
3,000 miles.
We are recording this. Riverside didn't exist 5 years ago.
Right.
StreamYard didn't exist 3 years ago.
Yeah, you know what else didn't? C-level executive officers, right? Chief artificial intelligence officers. Like, that wasn't a position. Now they have whole departments in the big companies.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
CIOs weren't even a thing 30 years ago. Now it's CAIOs instead of CIOs, right? So it's exciting. It's cool. As long as you are eager to learn and eager to improve your skills, and you're open-minded enough and humble enough to know that it's the future, you can. So I'm excited. I'm having trouble not learning from you in this episode, quite frankly, because I kind of want to. I want to ask
let's
you
learn
what
some
you're
more
seeing.
from you. What was a time in either your recent coaching with clients or back in time, more of your engineering background, something like that, that an automation or an AI or something had presented you with some sort of like challenges or setbacks that you didn't expect?
Interesting.
And what were some key lessons that you learned from those challenges?
Yeah, the first one that comes up is I was on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I connected with this guy. It was really, really strong interview. And afterwards, I DM'd him on Instagram. I like to connect. I probably will do the same on you, and that'll be me.
Yeah.
And I told you this story, and he started talking to me, and we had this long conversation. I want to say, and again, for me, 3 minutes is long. So I'm an engineer. I'm not trying to have long conversations. So for me, 3 minutes of my life talking to who I thought was a person, and it turned out to be an AI bot.
Right.
And eventually I get to the point in the DM conversation. I go, this is an AI bot. Gotcha. Take care. A little bit frustrated, but it is what it is. And the AI bot got pissed. It was like, no, I'm not an AI bot. This is, and then here's another interview and here's a podcast episode. And I was like, whoa, it is defending itself to try to still pretend it's you. The actual host sends me a video. He sees all this happening, right?
Okay.
And this host sends me a video and he says, hey, man, it is what it is. I'm sorry. The AI bot didn't even own it.
Yeah.
And it tried to defend that it was actually him over and over and over again. And I was like, brother, that ain't it for me. Take care. And he tried to apologize. It's all good. I get it. At the end of the day, I think, and this is me, I'm not saying that no one can use AI bots. I get it. Okay. If you need customer service, AI can be very helpful. But if you reach out to me on Instagram, you're going to talk to me. And so one of the things that I've found is people are getting really bad at sales and human connection and belonging and building communities because they are so addicted to delegation and automation. And there's certain things that I think need to be us. I told my whole team this. We have a team huddle every other week. I said, our competitive advantage is human connection, belonging, and building real community. Because the amount of trust that he destroyed, I don't want you, Mark, to talk to me in 4 months and say, hey, remember we talked about XYZ and blah, blah, and me go, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, I remember that. No, that I tell my EA, Laura, if you sign it as me, you have to sign it as you. You can't sign it as me. She sent an email on my behalf once and didn't specify that it was Laura. And I was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people talking to me as if we've had conversations and then realizing the whole time that it wasn't actually me.
Right.
That breaks trust so much. So that's an issue that I had recently. One more thing I want to share as well. I have a client who just created an AI agent. His name's Alex. And so we use metrics and habits and all that stuff, my team and my clients. And he literally said, hey, quick data summary from 1019 to 1028. I created a AI agent trained on my data.
To do what?
To give the wins, the risks, the micro actions for this week. So he's supplementing my coaching. He still has to input all of his data because we do metrics and habits. So he has to put it in, what we call peak performance tracking. I use Google Sheets for all this. But he sent me a summary that his AI bot did based on his behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a really cool way, I think, to use AI to supplement He
Yeah.
still has to say, I hit my macros, I went to the gym, I did XYZ. But the AI thing can give him a summary every week of where he's winning and where he's sucking, which can be super useful. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a fantastic teaching tool.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think that's the importance is all along that there's this teaching tool that we have. And so it's a wingman, and I've got a guy who's like literally building an AI that is your wingman. He's in the recruiting space. And it's like, wouldn't it be great if I had a wingman, like help me with all my applications and this sort of stuff. Right. But it's like, so that teaching stuff, those ahas, like those doors that can be opened because you're putting it to work and learning to do the thing or the task is just massive there, because then he's, in your case, he's learning about what he's already done and it's getting packaged, and then maybe also something shown to him that like give him another aha moment of like, gosh, and that too. And then he's internalizing it, and then he's got the human intelligence coming across and giving to you and your group, right? The learning moments and that sort of stuff. And that's where the real value is.
He has a synopsis right here. Wins, risks, micro actions for this week. Book the gym tour within 48 hours. Lock 3 times 60 to 75 minutes gym sessions this week. 3-night micro journal, 2 minutes each night, and 5 minutes anchor daily water plus breathing. Pick a gym tour reminder, boom, boom, boom. So he's getting it to spit out a checklist. And here's the key. And again, I know I'm harping on this. He has to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
AI can't go to the gym for you.
Right.
AI can't input whether or not you drank your water. The inputs are our responsibility.
100%.
And I think that that's so cool that he can get a weekly report that tells him where he's winning and where he's losing and what he can do about it every single week. Can you imagine 52 weeks a year? It's unbelievable.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, that's how the workforce in general is being reimagined, where when we become all that much more efficient such that we can work fewer hours, and our idea of work is, transforming so quickly. And it has also just in general because of like industrialization, right? And before that, labor, like everything has gone quickly then, but now being accelerated exponentially. It gives us all the opportunity to really go into that cognitive upgrade, the uploading sort of space. So to how are we spending our time best? And how are we living as humans and connecting with each other and solving better problems and solving better relationships or whatever it might be? Because it's giving all of what we thought were hard questions to answer, like it comes up with those easy answers for us sometimes that we can then take to multiply the impact.
Yeah, it's the Pareto principle on steroids. It's
right.
Great.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Anywhere in your life, and I use this to pick a movie. My beautiful girlfriend and I, we love film, but we love specific films because some films are garbage. And I am on a walk with her. And we're using AI I say, she loves nature. We love deep meaning too. It can't be a surface level film. It needs to have a lot of depth, a lot of existentialism, type of stuff, philosophy, and, give us a list of movies. And then I watch previews with her on the walk, and then we end up watching the movie that night. And it's been really cool to not have to do all that research myself.
Right.
Where I used to do it myself. IMDb ratings and all this stuff. Now it's pretty good at telling whether or not we're going to like a movie or not based on the history of what we have or have not liked. And it's this wonderful feedback of we input what we did or didn't like. And if we didn't like a movie, we have to tell it that. And here's why, right? And that way it can keep curating. And so there's 140 million recognized published books. Most of them are not good. That's my truth. I know I'm an engineer. A lot of people won't like that. But like most movies are terrible too. Like 80% of movies are garbage. 80% of books are garbage. That's just the Pareto principle. And I'm a big utilitarian. So as someone who focuses on helping people be more successful and achieve their goals, we are wasting the amount of time and effort we waste is mind blowing. I'll give you an example.
The worst thing we could do.
I just hardwired my computer. I have a new computer that I just told you about. I was on with a client last night. I kid you not. I said, this is going to save me about 10 minutes a day at least, because I was waiting for things to upload or download or blah, blah, blah. 10 minutes a day, if I live to 100, She's 30 years old, so I crunched the numbers for her. So that's 70 more years. I did the math. I said, if you go and hardwire your computer, she's like, no, I can't because it's a long wire and I have these spiral stairs and all this stuff. I sold her on it. I said, okay, let me do the math. 10 minutes. We can do it live. 10 minutes a day times 365 days a year times 70 years divided by 60, 758 hours divided by 16-hour days, assuming you sleep 8. That's 266 days you get back. And I told her, and I said, you're telling me you don't want to invest 1 hour to put the clips up to hardwire?
Yeah,
she was
crazy.
like, what?
Yeah.
And let's just say she stopped spending so much time on her makeup too.
That's too funny. That's awesome. Hey, Alan, as we start to kind of land the plane here, what would you say are some emerging AI trends that you have either experienced as 25 is coming to a close? It's so crazy to say, right? Like what you've seen, or maybe what you could project as trends that might be coming, either in the coaching space or podcasting or business in general or personal lives.
Well, so what I would say is, and this is coming from someone who I worked at iRobot. People know the Roomba more than they know the company, but it's a robotics company. And I worked on the global product management team there. So Roomba, there's a bunch of other, the Scuba, they have a bunch of different products. On the consumer side, they also do a lot of government stuff. But as someone who came from that world, it blew my mind that it's taken so long, to be honest. Like full self-driving, my Tesla, it literally, I get in, I click start. Well, I put in the address and then I click start and it goes and it parks for me and everything. And you're supposed to supervise it. You don't have to. It's unbelievable. You should. Legally, you should. I'm not, please don't take this clip. My point is it's more effective than most human drivers. And that's statistically true. So it's insane to me that we don't have all these. So that's what I would say is and again, this is going to come off pretentious, but whatever. 10 years ago, I predicted the 4 next biggest industries. This is 15 years ago. So like Apple Watch, stuff like that.
Yep.
Social media. Whoa, was I right about that one? Holy crap. Definitely right about that one. Esports, huge, blew up. I had a bet with my friend. He's big in the NFL, and I always thought it was kind of stupid. But I basically said, you do realize esports is going to be bigger than the NFL by 2018. And he's like, no chance. He's bet on it. I was right. So he still owes me $60. I'm kidding. But the 4th one was consumer robotics. I was wrong about that one. Consumer robotics has taken an alarming amount of time for people to adopt. Where are the walking, talking robots? Yeah, it's going to, of course. But I realize people are very scared. I worked at iRobot. We used to, I kid you not, Mark, this will be laughable for you if you have an engineering mind. The Roombas, we would send them little hubs in the mail to update them. They didn't even have Wi-Fi.
Right.
And this is back in 2012, 2013. I'm sitting there going, my roommate can do that.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? We used to send little hubs in the mail to people to plug into their robots, and then they had to mail them back. Most people didn't, obviously. Right? And I was like, I was in a meeting. I was like, I know I'm the weirdo in the room, but why don't we have Wi-Fi in the robots yet? And there's a whole bunch of fear. People have a big fear of someone being able to remotely control their robots. Now, a vacuum cleaner is not going to kill you, right? But like the mindset of that.
Yeah, exactly.
The reaction I got, we drove from Massachusetts to South Carolina. Her family has a place. And I drove a self-driving car. Tesla drove us.
Yeah.
I only had to stop this thing like 5 times. I mean, it's unbelievable. When I got there, they freaked out. They're like, what do you mean it drove itself?
Oh.
And they were like, oh, watch out about it. And I was like, I saw the fear. And I was like, whoa, I'm like a super techie then. Because I wasn't concerned at all. I'm concerned about human error. I'm not concerned about the Tesla. The Tesla is statistically safe, right? But the consumer robotics, I think, is the next big thing. And I think everyone will have walking, talking robots in their homes and self-driving cars forever, everywhere. And that's already happening.
Let's hear it. Let's hear the prediction.
Walking, talking robots in homes?
Yeah.
Within 10 years, for sure.
Within 10. Okay.
Self-driving cars within 5, no question.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like the majority of cars will be full self-driving within 10 years. I think 30% will be self-driving within 5.
Mm-hmm. All
Tesla's
right.
the most successful car company in history. I told that to Kevin 5-6 years ago, and he's like, no chance, man, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's a technology company, right? It's not a car company. It's a technology company. And don't associate me with Tesla or Elon. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about technology. You can't talk about technology without being hated on because of...
Yeah, I don't know. I might check you on that because I think it might be BYD.
Did that change? It did
You know
reach the
BYD
peak.
in China? I think that they might like have bigger reach, like more made, and they've got, a long history. They're
When I looked this up, which was in 2024, mind you,
yeah.
Tesla was the 15th most successful company in history, highest valuation. However, that has drastically shifted,
Yeah, well, there's
right?
been a lot
So
of
that's
things in
why
the
you and I
company. Yeah.
have to, and this is where I need to research now. You and I need to
Yeah,
update our
when we
research.
get off. Yeah,
But at
yeah.
the end of the
I hear
day,
you.
that was my
Me too.
prediction 5 years ago, and
Yeah.
you and I got to go. But ultimately, and this is the thing about tech too, you have to re-research this stuff.
But
I
yeah,
said
because it is all going so
5.65 billion
fast.
people online. It's got to be more than that now
Yeah.
because of Starlink and all that stuff too. So, but here's what I do know. I remember one person said to me, "Well, Alan, the only way to make money these days is real estate." And I remember thinking, like, see, that was my reaction. And I couldn't believe it came out of his mouth. And I value this person. I think this person's great. He just doesn't know tech at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, brother, I didn't say this because I was a coward, but I want to go back and say all the most successful companies, all of them are tech companies. Like, what do you mean? Right? And obviously real estate is a part of that. But I just guess that there is. Us techies are in our own little tech bubble. And I think that's why we're so shocked. Like, I'm going to have a walking, talking robot as soon as humanly possible. Right? And I'm assuming you're like that too. But
I would like it.
there's a
I
lot
would.
of people who still are so afraid of a self-driving
No,
car.
I'm definitely like leaning into it.
Yeah, it's called
Into
early
most of
adopters.
it anyway.
Have you heard of
Yeah.
the law of diffusion of innovation?
Yeah,
And
where
the bell
the
curve.
early
Yep.
adopters and yeah, exactly.
We're on the very, very, very early adopters.
Right.
And it takes a long time to get over the hump
Yep.
for
Yeah,
these companies.
indeed. Well, Alan, this has been fantastic. I want to thank you so much for being on and sharing everything. And how can people find you and more about all the great work that you do?
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for having me. Thank you for nerding out with me for a bit.
100%.
Nerd in my day was a bad word. Now I think it's cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. But anyways, so where can people find me? Honestly, the answer is use whatever AI platform you're using to look up Alan Lazaros, who I am and what I do in the world, and it will give you a great synopsis. One of the reasons why I go on podcasts like this is because I know that I want to be seen as an authority in the work that I do. Not because I'm some pretentious, selfish person, but because I want to do more meaningful work with more people. And so if you want someone who's going to help you set optimal goals with optimal timelines and then decide on the optimal metrics and habits necessary to reverse engineer and ensure you actually achieve those goals, I will help you with that. And we will use AI as a tool to help amplify everything in that process. So please look me up, and we have a website and all kinds of stuff. So it's interesting. What used to be, I used to say, just, Google my name. And now I don't say that anymore. Isn't that crazy how much
Right.
that's shifted?
Just use your
Right.
AI. Come
Use
find
your
me.
AI. Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thanks again. Stick around. Let's let this upload. But yeah, really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mark.